Hello, this is Jim Whitehead of All Power Group, and today it's Phoenix Animal. And first of all, I want to wish you a happy Black Friday. I hope you have some opportunity to get things you would like. I know things are a little bit more expensive, but we're working on that, right? Anyway, I want to wish you, and I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, by the way. Today, we're going to talk about Pip. Now, as you can see, Pip is not in a good situation. He is abandoned. He found this old shed to live in. And there he is, no animal, dog, cat, horse, I can name it and name it, should not be in a situation like this. So let's kind of, as you know, generally with my stories, I try to have good stories. And as a little aside, I'm always, how would you say, very respectful of organizations that do animal rescue. And I've done quite a few different ones related more to what is happening in the United States. And then I said, let me, and as a creator, you kind of want to have where you have different things to present, but also to learn. So this is what we're doing, coming up with different rescue organizations from around the world. And this is the first installment in this series. Now, our little Pip is in Great Britain, and he is by himself, alone. He has really not very much food. The only water he has is out of puddles. And thank goodness that someone called the RSPCA. Now, let me tell you who that is. The RCPCA was founded in 1824 and is the oldest welfare charity in the world. So, our wonderful friends across the pond have this great opportunity of helping their animals in their country. It operates in England and Wales. Now, Scotland and Northern Ireland have their own separate SPCA organizations. And as you can guess, my next installment will be on both either Wales and Scotland. And it's the point of seeing how they function. Are they any different, et cetera, et cetera. It is, and by the way, this is not a government agency, but it performs many government-like roles because of its scale and expertise. Anyway, this is a heartfelt RSPCA style rescue story that is told entirely from the eyes of the animal who lived it. And again, this is exactly what my homework pulled. Although, yes, I could come up with a story, this was a story related to an actual story related to Pip. who, as you can see, is not in a great situation. So the day the blue van came, and that's the vans that they have, it's an RSPCA rescue story from an animal's point of view, perspective, told by a little terrier by the name of Pip. As I don't know if you remember how long I've been alone, as Pip is saying, it could be days, it could be weeks. The broken shed behind the old house had become a shelter. The roof leaked. The nights were cold. The bowl I used to drink from had tipped over long ago, and the only water left was what had gathered in puddles when it rained. Now, you know, as you talk about drinking water, I mean, we all have to have good water. And it's not saying that rain, and it's tough to say if rain, depending where it is okay to drink, really, because there's acid rain, and not to go into too much with what happens in the environment to water being, raining. But let's face it, I don't care how good the water is coming down that's being, it's raining. If it's collects in a puddle in the dirt, you're not going to really feel that this is healthy for a wonderful animal or even a human being. So that's one of the worst things that we have. Now, my name is Pip. And this is, again, him speaking, but no one had said it out loud in a very long time. The stranger at the gate. That morning, I woke to the sound of someone calling softly. As you can see, someone must have seen Pip and called the RSPCA and said, look, please, we know where there's a dog at this certain location. Please help out. Hello, is anyone back there? I barked, half warning, half hoping. Because let's face it, animals, they're not always comfortable. And there are people that will hurt animals. And unfortunately, in the reality of any situation like this, the original owner of this puppy could have been a very, very bad person. And I don't even understand how anybody can not be nice to an animal, but we know that does happen. Anyway, a woman in a Navy uniform walked slowly toward the shed. She smelled like something I remembered from long ago: clean hands, kindness, and the faint scent of other animals. As you know, animals have an astounding sense of smell. Things they can smell that we wouldn't even come close to smelling. So they can remember smells of when, in this case, Pip had a much better time. If he did, and I certainly hope he did. And again, this is a true story. So, yes, some of my stories are not always, how would you say, directly true. They're accurate, they're honest. But this one, honestly, is where this is a specific rescue of this wonderful little terrier by the name of Pip. Anyway, The nice lady in blue crouched down and said, "It's okay, sweetheart," she said. "I'm with the RSPCA. You are safe now." I didn't know the word, per Pip's point, but her voice made my tail twitch. So, animals, besides all the things that we say wonderful about animals, they have a tremendous sense of smell, good things happening, bad things happening. Really very, very, how would you say, detailed as to things that have happened in their past life. Anyway, the hardest step. Part of me wanted to run to her. Another part wanted to run away. And again, if everybody was wonderful in the world to animals, they wouldn't have any of these concerns generally. But obviously, Pip has not had a great life up to now. If he did, he wouldn't be in this situation, in my opinion. She didn't rush. She didn't grab. She sat on the cold dirt and let me decide. She laid a soft blanket on the ground, spreading it out like a bridge between us. Then came the magic words. "You've been very brave, Pip." She knew my name. I don't know how, but she knew it. I stepped forward, one trembling paw at a time. The RSPCA van, she carried me gently to the blue and white van. There you see. Inside, it smelled like a safety, blankets, treats, and the warm scent of other rescued animals. So here's Pip saying, "I think we're going in the right direction." She wrapped me up and said, "Let's get you warm, little lad." For the first time in weeks, I fell asleep without shivering. And again, when I go through these stories, I love animals so much that they should always have the best of the best. But a lot of times they don't. In fact, we're elderly, my wife and I. I'm 76, and we've had our little Jamie that I've spoken about very, very often. She's almost 11 years old, and we've had her from a puppy, and she's a Shih Tzu. And we recognize that, and I pray every day it doesn't happen, but it will, when an animal, and in this case Jamie, has to leave this earth. We recognize, because of our age, that instead of maybe having a future animal, and I have a hard time even saying this, but what we kind of agreed on is that we would volunteer at a local animal rescue. And that kind of where you feel you're giving back. I do admit, when I see any animal, I love them. And if I was involved in a animal rescue facility, I could very well want to take them all home. So that's ready for a future story. Anyway, the vet and the bath. At the RSPCA Center, everyone moved with purpose but spoke softly. A vet checked my pores, my ribs, my fur. No fractures, he said. A bit underweight, dehydrated. I mean, when you drink out of puddles, that's not a great way to really get a lot of water. But he'll do well. So luckily, he's young enough. And although I don't know the length of time he was on his own like this, he is going to be okay. Pip says, I didn't understand the words, but I understood the hands. Gentle, patient, careful, not to hurt me. Then came the bath. There we go. Warm water. And I know Pip is saying, whoa, this is wonderful. A sudsy shampoo, hands rubbing dirt out of places I didn't even know I had dirt. And when it was over, they wrapped me in a towel that smelled like sunshine. Now, this is Pip's words. And again, since he was outside all the time, he certainly knew when the sun was out and all the things that go along with, nighttime, daytime, etc., etc. Now his new life begins. I stayed in a warm kennel with a soft bed. People came by all day. Some talked to me. Some gave me treats. My little Jamie, she has to have treats every day. Some just sat with me so I wouldn't feel alone. And look at Pip in the glory. Yes, he's in a cage right now, but he's being well taken care of. And hopefully someone is going to come and take him home. They called me good boy so many times that I started to believe it again. And I guess, and I see it with Jamie, even though we cherish her, there's times, especially if we have to be out, that I know she gets very upset, anxious about being by herself. Even though she's safe in the home, she has her water and her beds, and we leave treats for her and food. It just isn't the same when you don't have someone with you. Now, the door opens. One morning, the same RSPCA officer who found me knelt down and clipped a little tag to my collar. You've got a visitor, Pip, she whispered. A couple walked in. They smelled like home. Now, that is amazing. She could see their steady hands and warm carpet. She just felt and could smell what she thought she had in the past. And now she's feeling that maybe she will have it now for the future. The woman knelt and held out her hand. Hello, Pip. We've been waiting for you. And you can see the excitement on their face, seeing Pip and the wonderful RSPCA helper. They walked to her, and this time I was not afraid. just ready. The ride home, as they carried me out, I turned and saw the RSPCA officer leaning against her van. She waved at me, smiling, because they know they found Pip, they saved Pip, they made sure he was good and well for being able to go home with a family that will make Pip's life wonderful. She says, "You're going to have a beautiful life, Pip." Pip wanted to bark goodbye, but the lump in his throat was too big. You know, animals appreciate what people do for them. We would never say, no, they don't know the difference. They do. In fact, they know probably better than we do as humans as to what's important in life and what they would love to have and where they need to be. So anyway, Pip wagged his tail, and I wagged it for her, for the van, meaning that's how Pip got to the center, for the shed I would never see again, for the life waiting just beyond the car door. Now, from Pip's point of view again, I sleep on a soft blanket. Now, my bowl is always full. Someone says my name every day. And I know we like happy endings. And that's what I generally do with my animal channel. I don't generally do things that don't have a happy ending because it wouldn't make me happy. So hopefully you're happy to see an animal have a good ending. Now, Pip, as you can see, is in luxury, plenty of food, plenty of water, and love. Now, on occasion, I hear a van on the street outside. I lift my head and listen. I hope it's one of theirs, the people in blue who find animals like me. The ones who say, "You are safe now. You're not alone. You're going home." And there you can see Pip recognizing some past helpers in his life and recognizes how good they were to save his life and have it where he has a wonderful home now. And as you can see, they even put a sign that says the Pip Residence. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed putting it together. And again, this is a true story. And again, in most cases, I will always provide a happy story that has a happy ending. I want to thank you very much for being here. Again, this is Jim Whitehead of All Power Group and Phoenix Animal. If you can subscribe and follow me, that'd be wonderful. I also have a coffee channel that's another love is coffee. That's another whole story. But my coffee channel is called Power Coffee News. And what I try to do, and what I've been doing so far with that particular channel, is I go way back in history and work on the interesting aspects of coffee being discovered. And in a lot of cases, it's by accident. It's one of those things where, back, et cetera, and coffee isn't and wasn't grown like it is today or commercialized like it is today. A lot of this was just found, the coffee-wise, was found by accident. And in some cases, it wasn't even human beings that found the coffee. One of my stories goes into that a sheep herder could see when the sheep would eat these, what they call cherries, and they'd be acting like, wow, I'm feeling great now. I ate some of the cherries. Well, that's because they're now caffeinated. So there's a lot of stories like that have it where just by luck, things work out. Or, they fight wars over coffee. I mean, there's a lot of stories that are very, very interesting. And thank goodness we all lucked out to have coffee now in our current day. Anyway, happy holidays to you. And I pray every day that everybody in the world is going to be okay for the future. And that's how I 100% feel. So thank you again for being here. And please take care. And thank you again. Take care.